What will happen to Canada? After Alberta secedes, after the Liberal Party's election victory, a referendum in Alberta seems almost inevitable. Its eventual declaration of independence and desire to join the United States appears to be just a matter of time. In other words, Alberta is bound to break away from Canada. If not next year, then the year after. The split is imminent. When that happens, Canada will have no other options. 1. It could try to maintain the status quo, or 2. It may have to watch other provinces, specifically the two large central western provinces, Manitoba and Saskatchewan, follow Alberta's lead and secede as well. If that happens, how should Canada respond? Will it cease to exist as a country or merely survive in name only, barely hanging on? That depends on fate, the will of the people, and whether the Canadian government can come up with effective solutions. Canada, much like the United States, is politically divided along regional and ideological lines. The central parts of the country, more traditional and culturally conservative, tend to support the Conservative Party, akin to America's Republican base. Meanwhile, coastal areas, major cities, and industrialized, so-called culturally elite regions are typically dominated by the Liberal or Democratic parties. This is a common pattern in human society. Those with higher education, usually university-educated, often lean left. And in both Canada and the U.S., universities and professors tend to hold Marxist or far-left ideologies, essentially functioning as mouthpieces for communism. They indoctrinate students with ideas like human rights, equality, and gender freedom, promoting absolute egalitarianism, in other words, Marxism and class struggle. Thus, urban centers filled with intellectuals and elites are strongholds of the Liberal or Democratic parties. It's inevitable. The people doing the brainwashing were themselves brainwashed. From a traditionalist perspective, they've lost touch with reality. In this context, Canada, like the U.S., has no real choice. Liberal Party supporters cluster in urban centers, while traditional conservatives are concentrated in central and less culturally developed regions. The issue is, these central and western regions are the lifeblood of Canada, its energy base and economic foundation. If Canada loses them, its vitality is gone. The economy will stagnate. How can this contradiction be resolved? How can Canada defuse this crisis? The only viable solution lies in the path proposed by Donald Trump. Abandon the illusion of national sovereignty and merge with the United States to form a union similar to the European Union, a North American alliance or economic community. Canada is an energy superpower. Its entire economy relies on oil, natural gas, coal, and mineral resources. Yet, ironically, the Liberal Party, a government hell-bent on leftist ideology, focuses not on development, but on pushing political agendas: communism, extreme environmentalism, and radical climate change theories. This absurd policy means no economic growth, no traditional energy development, and a reliance on imported technologies like Chinese batteries and wind turbines. The outcome is self-destruction. It's like a fish that suddenly no longer wants to be a fish, and instead insists on becoming a human or a mouse running on land. Canada is vast, resource-rich, and sparsely populated. Its environment is already among the cleanest in the world. Green policies are redundant because the country is already green. The landscape is idyllic, reminiscent of China's pastoral spring and autumn period over 2,000 years ago. The people love nature and protect the environment voluntarily. There's simply no reason for draconian environmental restrictions. In fact, these so-called green and environmental policies are at best a waste of time and at worst a blueprint for national ruin. The irony is that Canada produces the cleanest natural gas in the world, and its oil extraction technology is among the most advanced and least polluting. Using Canadian oil and gas is actually one of the safest and cleanest energy options on Earth. But the far-left radicals and Liberal Party leadership ignore this, choosing instead to buy dirty technologies and green energy products from the developing world. What they don't acknowledge is that solar panels, batteries, and other green products made in countries like China are manufactured using the dirtiest, most environmentally damaging methods, far worse than anything Canada would produce. In fact, a single Chinese-made battery may cause dozens, even hundreds of times more pollution than a Canadian-made energy product. Yet, Canadian leaders prefer to close their eyes and ignore reality. As long as they don't see the pollution firsthand, they don't care, so they stop domestic energy production and pretend the pollution from other countries doesn't concern them. This delusional policy only increases global pollution while killing Canada's economy. Now, the Liberal Party has led Canada to a dead end. The country is on the verge of disintegration, and the economy is in dire straits due to U.S. tariffs and other factors. In this crisis, if Canada wants to survive as a country, it must cooperate with the United States. The first step: create a unified economic bloc with the U.S. dollar. The second step: merge with the United States to form a North American Union, a single unified country. Only then can Canada's economy be revived, transforming the nation into a rich and powerful state. This path could usher in a golden age not seen in a century, possibly even a millennium of unparalleled prosperity.